Awesome. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to get you set up with what we call an RDP. To connect to the Foxfire system, it uses a remote desktop. Are you familiar at all with what a remote desktop is?
I'm assuming it's no.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not.
totally fine. I just like to ask because if I try to explain it to someone who knows, then people get upset. But so basically what happens is when you go onto your computer and you're checking your email, you're just doing your regular stuff, you're on what we call a local desktop. It's your true desktop. When you log into Foxfire, you're actually going to be logging into a desktop that lives in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So we call it
Okay.
remote desktop. So to do that on the Mac, I'm going to have you go to the App Store, and we need to download Microsoft Remote Desktop. So under the search option, just type in Microsoft Remote, and it actually looks like it might be the second one there. There you go. Yep. And then as soon as we search it, it's going to have like a red computer looking. Go ahead and hit the drop down over there. It hasn't searched yet. There you go. And hit enter. There you go. So
Okay.
that red one with the two little arrows. Yep, so go ahead and click on that, and it looks like you may already have it, and you do. So
Okay.
there's okay, so go ahead and hit the close button. And then I'm actually going to take your mouse, and I'm going to take control over it because I'm going to add these items into your remote desktop. So the best
Okay.
thing to do is if you can pin this down to the bottom or somewhere on the desktop to get to it very easily in the future, that's what I would do.
Okay.
For now, is there more than one computer that this needs to be added to?
I'm assuming it's going to need to be added to my husband's laptop
Okay,
as well.
do you have that with you as well, or does he have that with him?
He has it with him. He takes it to work every day.
Okay. So what we'll need to do is find a time for him to reach out to myself or someone on my team so that we can make sure that that gets set up for him.
Okay.
I'm looking for your IP address right now, so hold on one second. Here it is. Okay. So connection name is going to be Foxfire PM and IMD EMR. And what I'm doing now, you don't have to take notes on. You don't actually ever have to do this again.
Okay.
So this is an easy one. 24. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm just going to try connect always. And then I think I added, so the logins that I sent you are to get logged in the first time. So this is what we consider your Windows password. So I'm just going to kind of back us out of here again. When you open up the little red computer, you're going to have two options here. You're going to have PM and IMD EMR and Navigator. The one we're going to concentrate on is the PM and IMD EMR. This is going to house your practice management, which is your patients, their demographics, and your schedule, and then the medical record. The Navigator side is the billing side. So that's one we're not going to work on as much for right now. Our focus is really going to be on the practice management side. When you double click on this option, it's going to bring you to a login screen. This is your Windows login. Your username is always going to be EHCSS.
Uh-huh.
So go ahead and type in EHCSS in lowercase.
Okay.
And then the password today only is going to be password 1 with a capital P and the number 1. It's just a password to get us past this point, and then it'll ask you to reset your password after that.
User's password must be changed before
Yep.
signing in.
So hit OK. And now it gives your username, the password one we just put in. So the next two have to be a new password. This has to be 8 to 12 characters. It has to have one uppercase, one lowercase, and at least one number in it.
Okay. Okay.
and then go ahead and hit the blue arrow and we'll just see if it likes us, and it does. That's good. Okay, so now every time that you click on that little red computer and you type in your username, that's going to be your username and password going forward.
Okay.
Now what it's doing is logging you into the remote desktop. So you can kind of see it looks just like a computer desktop, but it doesn't look like a Mac. It looks like a Windows computer.
Right.
This is that remote desktop I was telling you about, the one that lives in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
Now, once you're in here, you can, and I'm going to just see if I can scroll to figure out how yours Mac works usually. There we go. Across the top, you can easily minimize this to get back to your own stuff. So you can kind of see how it embeds into your computer itself.
Sure.
The piece that's super, super important in here is how to log off. Anytime that you're done in Foxfire, you should always go to the Windows icon at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, find your name at the top, and select Sign Out. This,
the Windows.
Yep, and I'll let you go ahead and do it. Let me get back to the desktop here. Go ahead and I'm going to have you sign out and sign back in just so we make sure that the new password is good. Perfect. So here, and let me just kind of explain why. So if you minimize, there's like a red X and you can disconnect, but what happens is think of this as like there's a highway between you and me in South Dakota, okay? And while you have this open, the highway is open. So I can send you information, you can send me information, and we have an open connection. Updates, backups, enhancements, all of that are done when the highway does not exist. So when you log off, like you just did when you sign out, the highway disappears. If you hit the red X to disconnect, the highway still exists, but it's broken in half. So that we can send information, it just never gets there. So it's really important that we don't ever disconnect. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when we disconnect. And I might be able to log you. Hold on one second. I might be able to log you in automatically so you don't have to enter that each time. Yeah, I can. Go ahead and put in your username and password here. And then I think if you double click, it'll just automatically do it.
Where does it?
And then the option. It's weird. These don't. You just have to hit the red X and hope it saves. There we go. Yeah. So it should just log us in.
Okay.
I know.
So is that going to be my login screen or no?
No. What is? Okay. So something isn't. Hold on. So this is what I was going to try to see if I could fix. I don't know if it's going to let us do this. Let me try something else. Let's edit and let's try BRL / I hearing SS and your password. I'm going to talk to myself for just a second to see if this will work. There we go. So now you don't have to put in your username and password every time. When you double click, I just set it to auto login for you.
Okay.
So here's what it looks like. So if you want to just close out and you click this little red X over here, the system is going to stop you and say, well, nope, yours isn't. Yours is just going to disconnect you. Okay. If you do disconnect, we do ask that you log back in and just log out correctly to make sure that you're set up properly. Normally it stops you and says you're disconnecting, are you sure? But Macs must be a little bit different. So just remember to click on the Windows icon, find your name, and sign out. That way you're always set.
All right.
Okay, so any questions on how to log in or log out?
No, so I just need to click on the computer icon and then put in my password, my username, lowercase, and then my password, and it should bring up the screen for me.
Yes, you should just be able to double click on it now and it'll automatically log you in.
Okay, perfect, because you have it on the
Yep.
So all I really need to worry about as far as logging on and off is just making sure I actually sign out.
Yes, you got it. That's exactly right. Yep, perfect. Okay, so that's that part. So let me talk to you a little bit about logging into the programs themselves. We aren't going to go through a full training on them today. We're going to talk about how to log in and log out of them, and then you and I will get together we'll talk about our calendar, and then we're going to just kind of schedule our trainings out. So there are two programs. The first one is Foxfire PM, and PM stands for Practice Management. So this is where the patient demographics live. So when a patient comes into the office, we update their address, phone number, date of birth, insurance, their documents, their HIPAA forms. All that information gets updated in the practice management side. It also manages all of their appointments. It also manages the optical, so their inventory, your labs, your lab orders, and checkout. So it will allow for charges to come through from the doctor. We assign those charges to insurance, we take payments on them, and we send them off to insurance.
Okay.
That's everything that the practice management side does. IMD EMR is the EHR, or electronic health records side of things. So this is the piece that technicians and doctors will log into to see a patient through the medical record. So what I'm going to do is show you how to log in and log out of each one of them. And then my understanding is that I'm going to make sure that you are set up with the PM side, so demographics and scheduling for sure. And then I kind of want to talk with you about how we want to do the rest of training. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to have you drive if that's okay, and I'm going to have you double click on the Foxfire PM icon. When you double click, it brings you to a login screen. Your username is exactly the same, EHCSS, but the password for this one is always password1 with a capital P, unless you want to change it. So go ahead and type in password1 with a capital 1 in the, or a capital P in the number 1.
Let me just write down.
No problem. Yeah, no hurry at all.
So capital P.
And the number 1.
Okay. And then log in?
And then log in. You got it. Now, once you get logged into here, this is what the program looks like. At the top right, you have the ability to minimize, and it comes down here. It's just a little glasses icon, and it comes back up. Okay. If on this one, if you hit the red X, it's closing the program. It's the same as closing the door. There's no wrong way to log out of this particular program. You just either X or close the door. That's all there is to it. You can have a couple of these open. Like sometimes I see clinics I have one PM open where I just am looking at demographics and I'm looking at patient information, and then another one where I just have my calendar open so they don't have to toggle screens back and forth. We're going to get way more into that as we move forward, but just know that you can do that. And then I'm going to have you double click on the IMD EMR icon. Here, you're going to find your name in the user drop-down. So there's going to be a list of all of the users that are here. You'll find your name, and then your password is 1234.
And then and then I just drop down.
So your username is just the drop down. You'll select your name and then password. You can use the pin pad that you see on the screen with your mouse, but quite frankly, I honestly just use my keys on my keyboard and type in 1234.
Okay.
Yep, and then go ahead and hit enter or sign in. So I'll have you go ahead and do that. So this is the EHR screen. You're going to notice that when we log into these two, the first thing you see is blank. This is just a HIPAA compliant screen. So when you log in, it's not automatically bringing up anything unless you've already had something open. So let's talk about PM again. To log out, just go ahead and close the door. So at the top right-hand side, hit the close the door icon. IMD EMR is a little bit different. There are two ways that you can log out, and there's actually two steps. There's a log off and there's an exit. So if I click log off, it brings me back to the login screen. So what it will do is bring me to a list of users and where I put their passwords in. That actually doesn't close EMR. If I hit log off, I would have to click cancel and then yes in order to get all the way out. However, when you come in here, and I'm just going to log in for you until I have you practice, if I go to File and Exit, it will log me off and close the program. So if you're done in there for the day, the best thing to do is go to File and Exit because you don't have all those extra little pesky clicks. It's just super quick. So I'm going to log us back into here, and then I'm just going to have you go in and log out. I'm going to have you log yourself back in and then log out again. Yep, perfect. And then you'll see that now you're on your own computer. You don't have to select your name every time. It's just there.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is passwords. So let me just kind of outline this for you. I normally don't have this particular conversation, but when I have the doctors that I'm working with or spouses, for doctors, I find that spouses have a little bit more security level than the regular staff does. So I'm going to walk through with you the password changes. Every person at the clinic has the password 1234 except for the doctors.
Okay.
So with that being said, depending on how involved you're going to be in the medical record and in the system, I think it might be best for you to change your passwords to something other than 1234 because the staff could potentially catch on and log in under you. I don't think that anyone, I've never run into that problem ever. But I always take that extra precaution with providers, office managers, and spouses of the doctors just because we have that. So I'm going to bring you to, and I hope you have access. I don't know if the security is here. And yep, see, I gave you admin access. So the steps for this, you don't have to write down. I'm just going to bring you to where you can enter a new password in. So it used to be 1234. And if you want to just type in a new password twice here, you can do so. My suggestion is to stick with the numbers. Yeah, stick with the numbers is the easiest thing to do so that when you're in there, you just quick hammer it out. So then you'll click change password, and now that password only you have access to. You also have
my password, right?
Say that again.
So from here on out, I use that instead of the one.
Yep, so cross out 1234, and all you're going to do is enter the new numeric password that you entered. So it'll just replace it. And I did give you full security. So things that you can do in here, staff cannot do. So I gave you everything except ERXing for the doctor. I'd have to have something in writing to say, hey, she can do this, unless he changes it for you. But there are going to be access in here, like for example, this employees section, none of these other staff members except Dr. Perrine have access to, well, and Dr. Sharma. So you would go in there, and if so-and-so says, I need access to this, right now, you can get access to it, but Laurel can't, or Emily can't, or Lisa can't. So it's just, I just wanted to let you know the clearance that you were given. That's all we got to do in here. Go ahead and log out of IMDEMR, and we're going to log back into Foxfire PM because I'm going to also have you change your password in there, I think.
Oh no, this is password, right?
Yep, this is password, one with a capital P and the number 1, and then we're going to change it. And it's EHC.
Oh.
Yep, and those might change down the line. Just to give you an idea of where that comes from, when Dr. Perrine started her practice, she was called the Eye and Hearing Center. So EHC comes from Eye Hearing Center and then your initials. So it may change down the line as we move forward and make changes. I just don't know how, we haven't really crossed that bridge yet. Okay, so in here to change your password, because again, same idea. Everyone has the password 1 with a capital P and the number 1. So everyone knows that's what your password is. So to change it, there's this little gear marble here, and that opens up a key. If you go ahead and put in your new password here, you can enter it, and then that's what you will use going forward. Now, Here's the thing about the passwords in here, that Windows password, the very, very, very first one we put in with the little red computer, that requires you to change it for HIPAA compliance every 45 to 90 days. So it's set on an automatic rotation, and I think it's 45 days, but it could be 90. I'll have to
Will
double
it
check.
prompt me to do that?
Yeah, it will. It'll say, and it usually starts like 2 weeks in advance. It'll say, your password expires in 14 days. Do you want to change it now? And it just
Okay.
reminds you every day until finally you change it.
Okay.
Now, this password for PM and IMD EMR never expire. So whatever you enter in here, when you change that Windows password every 45 days, these always stay the same.
Okay.
So I always like to tell people that, because like the very first time I did this, I made my Windows password and my practice management password the same, and then I could never remember what it was because one had always changed and one was static. So this one doesn't have any requirements. If you wanted to do the same numeric password, you could, or if you want to put in a different password, you can do that too.
Okay.
And then hit the green check mark.
So that.
And it's changed. Perfect. Okay. So then you
Okay.
can hit the little red X over here, and that just cancel, well, let's not do that. Let's just hit the red X up here. There we go.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you log out. I'm going to actually have you log back in to make sure that that password's stuck.
Okay.
Awesome. Very, very good. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is pull up your email. Oh, how did the doctor go, by the way?
Oh, it was fine. I have
Okay,
nondescript nothing, so there's nothing to do.
Don't you love that? And you wake up in the morning and you're like, no, I swear, something is wrong. And they're like, no, not really. You're just sick. Thanks.
I'm like, I sound terrible. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll have to go back in a week, and then they'll give me an antibiotic. But
Oh, no. Gosh. Oh, I wish they would have just done it. But
terrible here, so it might be allergies. Atlanta's notorious for being coated in yellow pollen this time of year.
you know, I heard that. I'm going down south. I'm actually going to Alabama next week, and someone made mention of that, something about pollen. And
don't wear black.
oh, good. Really? Okay, good to know.
Well,
Good to
I mean, it just gets everywhere. It's just
Yeah.
gross. I mean, you're not going to be outside very long, but
No.
like my car is a completely different color. It's a black car, but it looks like the color of a tennis ball.
That's so weird. Okay, we don't have that up here. We actually, half of our state got snow this morning, so
Oh my gosh.
we're in
I
South
heard it's
Dakota, so.
there.
Say that again?
I said I heard it's beautiful there.
It is.
Like,
Well, it depends on the side of the state you're on. So we're cut in half. The side of the state I'm on is flat with cornfields and cows. And then the other half of the state is gorgeous with badlands and mountains and trees and just vast, gorgeous stuff. So it just depends on which side of the state you go to. Not so pretty where I am. I mean, I think it is, but I grew up with that kind of stuff. The other side of the state is like an epic adventure. There's just gorgeous.
I would love to go to the Badlands. I want to like take my kids there. Like it just seems like such a like interesting and cool place.
It is, and definitely so fun to bring kids on because you can do you find the coolest things, like rocks and fossils, and it's just free reign. Like you just go, you can camp out there if you want to, and it's just land that you don't really ever see. Oh, it would be so fun to take the kids there. Oh my gosh. I love going. So yes, put it on your calendar someday.
It's on my list. It's on my bucket list.
There you go. Okay, so tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, so we have pretty much the same times. Did you get my other email with the training agenda on it?
Let me check.
It's okay if you, because I just sent it before we met.
I got the one that you had sent, which read to me like it was more related to what you were working on with my husband.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I CC'd you on that. That's totally fine. So the other one I sent just a few minutes ago, and basically it's an agenda, and it just tells you here are all the sessions that we offer for what you need to learn. So when we go through and you and I are setting up training, what is your goal to be trained on? Do you need to be trained on everything from top to bottom, or is there particular pieces that you will be trained on specifically?
so I asked my husband that, and you know, as far as the doctor portion, as far as all of the EMR stuff, like I'm not going to be doing any of that. I need to mainly know how to schedule, how to, check in, check out, take payment, all those kinds of things. So
Okay.
really, it's mainly just the PM portion.
Perfect. Okay, that sounds good. Will you ever be working up a patient or doing any pre-testing?
No.
Okay, so no EMR at all. Perfect. That gives me a good head start.
I will, and so, and I guess I'm doing it as far as like priority goes. So if
Yeah,
for some reason I touch base with him tonight, he's like, I want you to do the other piece of it. I will immediately send you an email so you
sure.
can like adjust the scheduling of this.
Of course.
But I really just want to be proficient on the PM portion.
Okay.
Just get into the office and, just really start helping out because I don't know I've never pre-tested anybody. I've never done anything in terms of, actually dealing with the
The
medical
medical
portion.
side? Okay.
Yeah.
And if he wants to, I mean, that's perfectly fine. I can train you and you would walk away from the training and no one would ever know you'd never done it before. So we would
Oh, great.
easily get you set
Actually,
up.
I'm interested in that, but from what Dr. Prine had said, I think the PM training is 30 hours. Is that correct?
The PM training is about 8 hours.
Okay.
The
And then,
whole agenda, like if we were to look at every little thing, is about 30 hours, but things are a little bit different for her clinic for a couple reasons. We do the billing, so that eliminates all the billing training because Alicia is your biller, so she does all the billing for you.
okay.
So that part is completely eliminated, which is about 7, maybe 7-ish hours, I suppose. And then it
Okay.
just depends too. That's a pretty rough estimate. Like you and I, what I may spend on an hour and a half with a clinic, you and I may get through in 45 minutes because with one-on-one, it goes a little bit faster. So
Sure.
it just kind of depends, but we'll start with the PM side and then, if down the road you get comfortable with it and then you say, okay, we're going to start working up a patient, then we just put that on the calendar. And that's super easy to do too. Very, very flexible.
Okay, great. I did get the email with the agenda on here. It
Okay,
goes through all
cool.
the training sessions, right? Like what
Yes.
we go through in
Yep.
each session. And there are, let me see, I just want to make sure I have all the sessions. There are 8 sessions, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and they're all an hour and a half?
That's where I'm in a
Oh,
schedule with you for 1 hour because a lot of
okay.
these, like an hour and a half is usually set up for a brand new clinic and you already have these items set up. So it's just a matter of how to use them. So we're going to put items on the calendar for an hour at a time. And then of course, if we need more time, we can always extend it if we need to, or if we don't need as much time, we can end early. Again, super flexible.
Okay,
So with
so
that being said, are you going to do anything in optical with inventory or lab ordering or any of that?
I don't know, but I definitely think that I would need to be trained on that.
Okay, very good. So let's start with practice management session 1. That's demographics. Tomorrow I am booked solid from 11 your time until about 3:30 your time. So tomorrow probably isn't going to work.
Okay.
Thursday, the 27th, 7 to 9 a.m. 7 is 6 my time. That's a little early for me. Um,
Can we do like,
6 to 8.
does 12 work? So 11 your time?
On Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually works perfectly.
Okay, so I'll put it down for 12 o'clock for session 1.
So PM session 1 is going to be on Thursday, 4/27 at 11 a.m. And again, I'm going to put it down for 1 hour.
Okay, and for me it's 12, right?
Yep, for you it's 12. Yep.
I just want to make sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So that gets
So
that one out of the way. And then we'll look at Friday. And I can actually do the same time on Friday if that works for you.
would it be possible to do 1 on Friday?
So
So it would be
do
12.
a 12 o'clock? Yeah, actually, that works just fine for me as well. And that one
Yeah,
we're going to do session 2, which is the calendar and how to schedule.
perfect. Okay, so session 2, and that is going to be on the 28th at 1 o'clock. So 12 o'clock for on Thursday, 1 o'clock on
Friday.
Friday.
And then next week, I'm in Alabama all week, so I can't do any training the following week.
Okay.
But I can resume training again on May the 8th. Do you know your schedule that far out?
I do. So can we just do 1 o'clock on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
On
Does that work?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I am not, well, I already have something set up for from 1 to 2:30 your time on Monday and Wednesday. So on Mondays, I could do at noon, or I could do at 2:30, or I could do in the morning.
Let's do 2:30.
Okay, so and let's do on the 8th, do you want to go in the order of the agenda and learn how to do the inventory on that day?
Uh,
Or do you want to
sure.
skip to checkout and do optical last?
Let's do optical last.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So then on the 8th, so that's not going to be PM session 3. We're actually going to do PM session 4. And this will be checkout, and I'm just going to do it with quick orders. Let's do that on...
that week I'll actually be going to the office, so if there's some things, like in order for me to be able to follow along with just a flow of the office, it'd be great just to get an idea of,
Absolutely.
check in.
Yep. Nope, that's fine. So we're going to do 2:30 on the 8th for the first part of checkout.
Okay, so 2:30, and that's Monday the 8th, and then Wednesday.
Hold on one second. I got to just put all this on the calendar before I can... Okay, so we did that. Now, can you do anything on the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see.
And I'm wide open that day.
So am I. So can we do, does 10 a.m. work?
10 would be 9 a.m. my time.
Or we can keep it at, or we can do
Yeah,
1.
Tuesdays I have a 9:15. I just have a staff meeting that day. So I told you I was wide open, but I lied. I'm open anytime except 10:15 to 11:15 that day.
Okay, so do you want to do noon again?
Yeah, that sounds good. Noon your time, 11 my time. So morning.
Oh wait, but you said you're busy until 11:15, right?
Yeah.
We can do 1. You want to do 1?
Well, it's 11:15 your time, 10:15 my time.
Oh, 10:15.
So yeah, so if you want to do it at noon, it's just 11 my time. And that's perfect. I'm wide open.
Okay, so 12 o'clock on the 9th.
Yep, and that'll be PM session 5. That's going to be another checkout, but it's going to include EHR charges, so it's just an extension of what we did the day before. And that'll be for an hour.
That was, I'm sorry, you said it's session number?
PM session 5. And that's also where we'll learn the payments and adjustments.
Okay, and that's 12 to 1, right?
Yep. 12 to 1 your time, yes.
And then Wednesday, do you want to do the 2:30 again?
2:30, yep, 2:30 on Wednesday. So let me get this.
So that's PM session 6?
Let me take a look at what session 6 is. Nope, there won't be a session 6. This is where we could start, because at that point, practice management is done except for optical.
Okay.
Do you want to jump into the optical side? So we'll do PM session 3 for inventory and quote orders. And I have that from 2:30 to 3:30 Eastern.
Okay, that's for Wednesday, right?
Wednesday the 10th, yes.
And that starts optical.
Yes, that's the optical training.
Okay, so as of Tuesday, May 9th, I should be done with all the PM stuff.
You'll be done with demographics, scheduling, check-in, and check-out.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then Thursday?
Give me 1 second here while I finish up this one. And then you just have to decide if you want to start on the EHR side.
Oh, okay. So the optical side is just one session.
It's one session. Yep.
So there's really only 6 sessions for the PM with the optical, correct?
There's 5 sessions total for the PM side with optical. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then there's 8 sessions for the EHR.
1, 2. Can I just go through this from the top with you?
Yeah, of course.
Well, okay. So I have Thursday the 27th from 12 to 1, PM session 1.
Correct.
Friday, April 28th, PM session 2 from 1 to 2.
Correct.
And then
if you want to keep going down, are you writing them on the agenda?
No, I just was putting in my calendar.
Okay, no problem.
And then we have Monday, May 8th, PM session 4.
Yes, at 2:30 your time.
Yes, and then Tuesday, May 9th, PM session 5, 12 to 1.
Correct.
And Wednesday, May 10th, PM session 6 from 2:30 to 3:30.
That one's actually we're going to bounce back up to session 3 and half of session 4.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so we're just going to go a little bit backwards, but.
Okay, so Wednesday, 2:30 to 3:30, and May 10th, PM session 3 and 4.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, and then that should cover all my bases.
That's everything PM. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Now, the other side of that we may want to expand on is at the very top of the agenda, Navigator Session 2. You don't need Session 1 or Session 3 because we do that for you. But Navigator Session 2 is how to look at patient balances, how charges come over, applying time of service payments, and eligibility. These are things I also think that you would need to have. So I would like to put that on the 11th, which is a Thursday, and I actually have the full day open that day.
That is, okay, hold on, May 11th. Yeah, I can do you want to do like 11?
Yep, that's perfect.
Would be 10 a.m. your time. So that would be, it's called Navigator?
Navigator Session 2. And we'll do that at 10 a.m. Central. Let me get that on my calendar as well. And then I'm going to email you this agenda as well. So you'll have, you'll have it all as well. So do
Navigator Session 2, and that's going to be on the 11th. And we're going to do that at 10 a.m. So 9 a.m. your time, right?
9 a.m. my time. That sounds perfect.
Is that 2 hours?
That one's going to be an hour long.
Okay. So they're all an hour.
Yep, they're all going to be an hour long.
Okay, perfect. So Thursday the 11th at 10 a.m. Navigator Session 2. And then as of right now, that'll be my last training, correct?
Yeah, and then Yep, and then as we move forward, like I said, if you talk to doctor and he says, I do want you to learn different pieces or expand on different things, we will just keep scheduling for an hour here or there. There may be times when you say, okay, I have to relook at this. Every training will be recorded and you will have your own training video link. So if you have to go back and go, okay, I don't remember how to do this that we covered last week, you can go back and watch the training. So all that will all be given over to you after our first training session.
Perfect. Okay. So I will talk to you next week. No,
Yeah.
on Thursday.
Yep, on Thursday the 27th, and then we'll do those all through the go-to meeting. So the same idea, you're going to get an invitation. It'll have a link on it. We connect the exact same way we just did. We go through the training, and we'll just connect the same way. And then if anything changes, just let me know if we need to reschedule or move things around. I'm pretty flexible to do that.
Okay.
And if you have follow-up questions or concerns, just shoot me an email. That's the best way to get a hold of me, just with the exception that next week I will be down in Alabama at a clinic. So I may not be readily available, but I can definitely reply in the evenings.
Okay, great. And you're going to email me all of these dates on the
Yeah,
event.
I'm actually going to put an email together right now and send that out to you. So you will have that here in the next few minutes.
Okay, and then can you just CC my husband on that too?
Oh, yep. He will be copied as well as my whole team.
Okay, thank you so much. You've been such a pleasure to work with. I'm so
Of
sorry.
course.
I'm so green at this.
No, that's okay. That's good. Green is good. It actually will make things and the transition a lot easier. I find that folks who have worked in other systems or have done this a lot before get it stuck in their head, well, I used to do it this way, or it's the way we've always done it. So it's really refreshing, and that's actually going to be something to your advantage because you'll be able to soak things in and not have to retrain your brain on things. So definitely don't apologize. This is a benefit, so it's really going to be good.
Well, I appreciate your patience, and thanks again for switching things around with me today. And just one last question. At the end of each session, is there like a, for lack of a better term, like test or like something to like kind of like practice things that I can like do to like kind of, are there like simulations?
That's a really good question. So I don't do tests by any means, but I understand where you're going with it. I do homework. So for example, Thursday at the end of our session, I will have taught you how to add a patient, edit a patient, make changes. And your homework will be add 5 fake patients into the database and edit these. So you'll kind of have your own time homework. It's nothing that I check unless you have questions on, but you will walk away with action items that need to be done so that you can apply it. So you'll hear it, you'll see it, you'll do it, and then you'll repeat it.
Okay, great. And then when I do this practice stuff, like am I actually doing it in the real database or is it like a fake database?
It is the real database, but we use fake patients.
Okay, so they're easy to spot and get out.
Yep, they have the last name Foxfire. So everything with the last name Foxfire, your biller knows is fake. We don't have to worry about it, and you can't break it, I promise.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I look forward to our session on Thursday.
Good. Sounds great. I hope you get feeling better, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Oh, and I'm going to close the door on this, right?
Yep. Go ahead and close the door, and then find that Windows icon and your name, and sign out. Yep, you got it.
Perfect.
All right, you are all set. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. How do I get out of this, the call?
I'm going to actually close it out for you, so there's nothing you'll have to do. You'll get a pop-up that says the go-to meeting has ended.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Morgan.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye.